Thank you very much for waiting. We would now like to start the meeting for the media on the second quarter of the fiscal year 2018 results for Hitachi Limited. I would like to, first of all, introduce the speakers to you. Mitsuaki Nishiyama, Senior Vice President and Executive Officer, CFO. Tomomi Kato, General Manager of the Financial Strategy Division. Yasuo Hirano of the Executive General Manager of Corporate Brand and Communications Divisions. I'd like to ask Mr. Nishiyama to start with the explanation. Thank you very much for waiting. I would now like to give you the explanation regarding the second quarter results for fiscal 2018. Please refer to the PowerPoint presentation. First of all, I would like to talk about the P&L. Please refer to 1-2 or page 5. Revenues in the middle is the for the first half, what the revenues was 4,491.8 billion yen, which is a 3% increase or 115.3 billion yen increase. Adjusted operating income 344.5 billion. Increased by 41.3 billion, 0.8% increase year-on-year. EBIT was 352.3 billion yen. At the very bottom, net income attributable to Hitachi Limited stockholders, 192.9 billion yen, increased by 32.3 billion yen. That is a 20% increase year-over-year. This is for the 6 months accumulated basis. And for the second quarter, as for the first half, in terms of EBIT and net income, we have been able to, and as well as income from operations, we have been able to achieve the highest level ever. And the operating profit is 6.9%. Has improved by 0.8 point to 7.7%. In terms of revenues, for the information telecommunications, social infrastructure, industrial system, and construction machinery, as well as agricultural materials increased. And in terms of operating income, improved for information telecommunication system, social infrastructure, and industrial system, as well as construction machinery, significantly. Now, please refer to 1-3. This is looking at the revenues and adjusted operating income year-over-year. Left-hand side is for revenues. First of all, the downward arrow is the impact of reorganization of Hitachi Kokusai Electric, impact of 72 billion. Foreign exchange impact. The dollar compared to previous year, it has become stronger by 1 yen. So the impact was 2 billion yen. And apart from that, business scale expansion was 189.3 billion. Organically, a 4% increase was achieved. On the right-hand side, adjusted operating income. Similar to revenues, there was the impact of reorganization of Hitachi Kokusai Electric. A negative impact of 10 billion yen. Foreign exchange, negative impact of 1 billion. Apart from this, the profitability improvement was 52.3 billion yen. From the previous year, organic growth has been achieved, or 18% increase has been achieved on an organic basis. 1-4 shows the revenues by market. The second line is outside Japan, accounting for 53%. It was 52% last year, so increased by 1 percentage point. And right-hand side, year-over-year, 5% increase was achieved for outside Japan. For the outside Japan, it increased in all areas. China 2%, ASEAN, India another 3%, North America 5%, Europe 10% increase was achieved. There was significant growth in Europe for the railway systems, as well as information telecommunication systems, as well as construction machinery. In terms of construction machinery, we have seen growth in all areas. 1-5. This is a summary balance sheet. The total assets was 10,060.1 billion yen, which is a decline by 46.4 billion yen year-on-year. Construction machinery as well as Hitachi metals, the inventory increased. However, Kokusai Electric reorganization, the assets thereof has come off. Therefore, overall, the balance sheet has become smaller overall. The cash conversion cycle is third from the bottom, 66.7 days. We are keeping the level of less than 70 days. Stockholders' equities ratio, 34.3%. D/E ratio is 0.26 times. So financial structure remains very sound. Furthermore, in terms of financial structure, the framework has been improving, and in August, S&P rating from single A minus has now gone to A. It was increased by one notch for Japan R&I. Outlook, it was A+. There was no change here. But Outlook was now positive from September. Now, free cash flow at the very bottom is 69.5 billion, which is an increase of 25.5 billion yen. And cash flows from operating activities show the Hitachi construction machinery as well as inventory increase. However, investing activities cash flows, Sal Air acquisition expenditure has fallen off, which occurred last year. Therefore, total was 69.5 billion yen in terms of free cash flow. Next page, 1-6 and 1-7 are the revenues and EBIT for each segment. First of all, starting off with information and telecommunication systems. Year-over-year was 103%, increased by 3%. This is for the Alexa network. Stock transfer has had an impact. This was a negative impact, but system integration business increased. Therefore, overall, there was an increase in revenues. In terms of adjusted operating income, plus 22 billion yen improvement was made. System integration profitability improved, and IT platform products increased in terms of profitability. And next, social infrastructure, industrial systems. The revenues increased by 6% from previous year. Especially, there was increased revenues in the railway system in Europe, as well as increase in industrial products business due to the acquisition of Sal Air. In terms of adjusted operating income, the elevator business in China, the sales price average has had a negative impact. However, we have seen increase in revenues in railway system business, profitability improvement in industry and distribution field. With that, increase by 24.1 billion yen. 1-3, which is electronic systems and equipment. It was at the level of 92%, or decreased by 8%. Hitachi High Technologies, the clinical analyzers as well as semiconductor equipment sales increased. Healthcare business, especially radiation therapy system sales increased. However, there was a deconsolidation of Hitachi Kokusai Electric. There was a negative impact of minus 72 billion. So overall, it remained at the 92% level. However, this is, if we exclude Hitachi Kokusai Electric, there was 8% organic growth. And next, adjusted operating income, plus 0.4 billion yen. There was a deconsolidation of Hitachi Kokusai Electric. However, there was increase in revenues at Hitachi High Technology, as well as increase in sales in healthcare business. Overall, increased by 0.4 billion yen. But in the absence of Hitachi Kokusai Electric, there was an increase of 10.1 billion yen. Next, construction machinery. Sales increased mainly in Asia Pacific, North America, and China. Sales overseas increased by 11%. And with that, operating income increased by 15.7 billion yen. Improvement was made. Next page is 1-8. High functional materials and components increased by 8% year-over-year. The tie storage battery MA was made for Hitachi Chemical, and Hitachi Metals also acquired Santoku, the rare earth metals manufacturer, and increase of sales price linked to higher raw material prices at Hitachi Metals, leading to 8% increase year-over-year. But operating income was minus 3.3 billion yen. This is because of the change in the product mix and increase in raw material prices at Hitachi Chemicals. Next, automotive system. Minus 2% in terms of revenues. There was a weakness in sales in North America. Operating income decreased because of the profitability deterioration in North America, minus 14.4 billion year-over-year. In addition, for EBIT, was for the first half was minus 13.7 billion yen. This is because of Japanese plants and overseas plants. Impairment occurred in these plants. The impact was 20 billion. And therefore, operating income deteriorated as a result. And EBIT deteriorated by 36 billion yen year-over-year. 1-9, smart life and eco-friendly systems. In change of accounting to net basis revenue for a part of procured products in Japan caused a decline to 88%. Operating income, impact of foreign exchange, as well as increase in raw material prices, steel products, minus 2.1 billion was the result for operating income. Now, in terms of corporate items and eliminations, the amount was very large at 57.6 billion. This is because of Hitachi Kokusai sales gains were included here.
Next page, on 1-10 as the first topic. This is the summary of the progress of Lumada business. Total cumulative quarter 2 sales revenue, Lumada business, Lumada core business, and Lumada related SI businesses total was 500 billion yen, which was 11% growth year-on-year. Bottom of the chart described are, for the first half, the industrial sector and financial sectors, the solutions which uses the Lumada technologies are expanding as we speak, and there are several solutions described. For the industry, started selling a new IoT solution. IoT Compass was started to sell, and was just to adopt the optimizing for the whole manufacturing processes for the Toyota Motor Corporation using AI for the predictive maintenance services, which were launched as well and used in the Showa Denko's F-LAN plant. And for finance industry, solutions are using the medical data and try to provide the risk simulation services for the in-hospitalization due to the lifestyle diseases. And this is the joint research with Daiichi Life Insurance and also business support for the Hitachi Health Insurance Society. The experience and the knowledge accumulated through that is utilized for the big data analysis. And one of the expansion of the co-creation in Southeast Asia is to establish the Lumada Center in Thailand. And also in Thailand, manufacturer Siam Cement Group. We started co-creation with them for promoting energy saving across factories and increasing the efficiency in dispatching processes. Next slide is 1/11. The second topics. First, our company has worked on the business structure reform and strengthening management foundations. Part of the effort was that, in fact, we have distributed the press release today. The company decided to start the tender of shares of the Clarion, which is a listed company, and we decided to apply for the tender of the shares to the Faurecia Group. And this is to further accelerate the growth of the companies as Clarion. And also Hitachi's point of view, we'd like to allocate management resources to social innovation business. And for that purpose, we decided to do this tender offer. And we will reorganize the large-size industrial equipment business. We divestitured the industrial equipment businesses, and we will try to strengthen the global competitiveness of the industrial products business unit. For the global business expansion, investment was decided. We're headquartered in Taipei. The elevator manufacturer and service provider company, Untitled, that we decided to start the tender offer. Ultimately, we will consolidate the Untitled engineering so that we can expand the elevator product lineup, and by strengthening cost competitiveness so that we will be able to enhance the installation and maintenance services business in China and other Asian countries. Now, on page 16, 2-1 is the outlook for FY2018. And the second quarter total, well, actually, starting in the first quarter, that was a certain continuation automotive systems and Hitachi Chemicals. Such products-related business were rather struggling. But information systems, information telecommunication systems, social infrastructure, industrial system, and construction machinery, or the type of business relying on the solution, or the social infrastructure type of business has been offsetting the loss from the product businesses. However, we will be revising the forecast overall, and the total amount of the revenues is 9,400 billion yen, and adjusted operating income is 750 billion yen, which is 8%, and the net income of 735 billion, and in the second half, forex assumption is the 105 yen to the US dollar and 130 yen to the euro. Now, this is the breakdown by segment. Slide 2-2 shows the information and telecommunication systems, system integration and solution business. These businesses are performing quite well. And as you can see, previous forecast comparison column shows that it is 6% up for adjusted operating income EBIT. And construction machinery, 2 billion yen increase for adjusting operating income. And next page, automotive systems. There are delay in improving operating efficiency in the first half. Reflecting upon that, the operating income forecast was reduced by 10 billion yen. For the corporate items and eliminations, there are an adjustment of 2 billion yen. Overall, there's no increase or loss, and there will be the 750 billion yen forecast is remained as is. So that is all from myself for the presentation. Thank you. Then we'd like to entertain some questions. We will be bringing you a microphone, so please state your name and affiliation, and please raise your question. Any questions first?
Question. The first question is as follows regarding the results. For April to September, it was the highest ever. What is the impact of trade friction? How do you factor that in terms of the evaluation of your results announced today? Regarding the impact of trade friction, especially from China to United States, as well as the import of U.S. companies from China have been impacted. But with respect to the overall scale, the direct impact is very limited. But in terms of trade friction, this could have an impact on the macroeconomic situation, weakening the economy overall, and there is uncertainty regarding the forecast going forward. Therefore, for the second half, for the automotive system as well as chemicals, apart from these two businesses, the businesses remain strong. However, the macroeconomic environment in the second half is subject to uncertainty, and that is the reason why the outlook for the year have remained unchanged. There is a business risk as well as macroeconomic risk to consider. And in terms of corporate items and eliminations, we have left 20 billion risk buffer in this item, which remains unchanged. Question number 2, regarding the Clarion, the sale of Clarion. After selling Clarion on the part of Hitachi Group overall, what is going to be the automotive systems business strategy? Now, I understand there's going to be impairment posted for the plants in this business. It seems that the environment remains very difficult and challenging. Please comment. Answer. Now, regarding Clarion, the sale of Clarion as well as AMS, the overall situation will be explained first. There is a revenues decline as well as productivity is slow to recover. Therefore, the situation remains very difficult today. However, from April, Briscoe has taken the helm from April of this year, and he has gone through review of the operations in terms of fixed costs as well as variable cost assets. Business portfolio have been subject to review. This process has started. In terms of the operations, first of all, the procured parts as well as the direct materials as well as the indirect expenses and variable expenses as well as fixed costs are all being evaluated. The fundamental improvement is being promoted. And for the assets, the asset efficiency is to increase, as well as for the business areas and product areas, there will be more focus and concentration. Fundamental reform is underway. As a result of this, Clarion sales has been decided. And in terms of operating profit decline, as well as the impairment of plants will be posted. And however, this is not a short-term strategy, but it is a fundamental cost reform for the mid to long term. But in the mid to long term, the Clarion transfer has been made for that purpose. Question related to the second question, I have a follow-up question. What about autonomous driving? Clarion and Hitachi Automotive System have been working together in this field. When Clarion is divested on the part of Hitachi as well as Automotive Systems, are you going to accelerate this business? Because Hitachi's automotive area, what is going to be the driving force? Answer. The important area is the electronic system, the parts system, as well as autonomous driving and ADAS will be important areas that we will focus on, and related parts and components will be important focus for us. On the Clarion has ADAS capabilities, and they have been developing such a system. But in terms of Clarion revenues, it's only accounted for about 10%. For ADAS, obviously, we have been working together, and together with Clarion, automotive systems have been pursuing this system. But for autonomous driving, ADAS to be pursued alone would be very difficult to achieve. For automotive systems, as well as the areas of strength, which is our control area, we should be reallocating our resources to these areas of strength. And the area that we're working with Clarion, as well as projects that are ongoing with clients, will continue going forward. That is our strategy. Therefore, in terms of the automotive system, we will focus on areas where we have strength, such as ADAS, as well as electronic systems and control units. These are the control areas that we are strong. Therefore, we will allocate more resources in this area. However, with the Clarion, there may be areas that we should cooperate depending on the business, as well as depending on the needs of the customers. Fortunately, there is no area that we are competing with Faurecia as well as Clarion and automotive systems of Hitachi. We do not have areas of competition, fortunately. Therefore, based on need, we will continue to cooperate and collaborate. In 2006, it has made Clarion became a subsidiary for Hitachi, but from year 2000, we have been cooperating with Clarion, working together. Therefore, even without the capital relationship, equity relationship, we shall be working together in areas of where it is warranted. That is all. Thank you.
Question regarding Clarion. Objective of selling Clarion shares, I would like to explore more. You mentioned that medium to long term, the strategy and cost structure reform, that what part of the Clarion of the business which would not fit to the overall strategy of Hitachi, could you clarify on that? On top of that, as you mentioned earlier, what is the development effort jointly pursued with Clarion? You mentioned that it will be project by project, but does that mean that you are going to jointly develop Clarion? No longer the case, you would not develop something new with Clarion any longer. Answer. Clarion is not a part of the cost structuring. First, of course, for the short term, we recognize the need for the revision of the cost. We needed to review all kinds of costs, and we implement all the revenue improvement strategy. But at the same time, we are thinking about the growth strategy, and we are preparing for the growth strategy. Transfer of Clarion and use that available proceeds to be able to allocate the resources for the area where we can focus more. So for AMS, this is the core of the strategy. From Clarion's point of view, being a part of Faurecia Group and part of the player under the Faurecia Group, then targeting their target automotive devices, the automotive systems that Clarion can grow. And for Faurecia Group, in the interior equipment of the cars, they are pursuing the technology for their smart systems. They are changing their course of the business. Because of this reason, Clarion getting together with Faurecia, both Clarion and Faurecia will enjoy higher value. Now, what are the required technology for us on the side of the ADAS? There are some parts which we are working with Clarion, and there are some projects which we are working for particular customers, and we will continue the collaborative relationship with Clarion. But in regard to the new products and new development, we will be solely focused on what we are strong at, and we were separately making their efforts on our own. Thank you. Question. Thank you very much. You mentioned that growth strategy for Hitachi that you have mentioned earlier. Perhaps it might be difficult to clarify, but what part of Clarion wasn't a core part of the growth strategy for Hitachi? Answer. About 10% of Clarion was coming from the ADAS or other devices which we are working with Hitachi. Clarion was working with Hitachi. However, for the car navigation system, the market has drastically changed very quickly. To give you more, the car navigation system is commoditized to a large extent, and therefore there has to be some party to rediscover the value of Clarion would be beneficial for Clarion, and therefore for Ratio Group will be beneficial. And for Ratio Group, will be able to continue making investment in Clarion business because of this reason. Thank you.
その他ご質問ございます。では。
Question. First question is regarding information and telecommunication systems. In the first half, it seems that profitability has improved significantly. There are two questions. First question is regarding Lumada. It seems that profitability is increasing according to enhanced scale. It seems that, do you think that Lumada has already had an impact in that regard, or is it still a front-loaded investment? Still, in terms of the review that you've made, as well as the detailed management of the profitability of projects, have you been able to increase to 10%? Now, on the full year, the outlook is 10%. But for this business, it seems that the second half should generate more profit. So please elaborate on these numbers first. Now, in terms of information telecommunication systems, now please look at page 27. Page 27, I would like to refer to this segment information. There are 3 improvements that can be made. Now, as you have rightly mentioned, for Lumada, it has been expanding. That is one factor. And as you have rightly pointed out, scale is still limited. And to make overall contribution later, it is necessary to enhance the scale. And with that, profitability can be improved. Furthermore, the other reason is relating to the IT platform in the hardware area. In the first half, it was 8.9%. So therefore, we have been able to improve the profitability in IT platforms and products. The structural reform that we have been implementing from 2 years back is now having an impact. Furthermore, storage business, hard business, the profitability thereof have been improving as well. In terms of revenues, is showing the overall trend. The hardware scale is smaller, but profitability has improved significantly. And regarding the front business, ASI business as well as solution business is such that very detailed project management has been continuing. And this has been thoroughly embedded. And now, as a result, the profitability has improved. And those are the 3 factors driving the improvement. In the second half, if annual pattern is that revenues tend to be larger in the second half, I believe that overall profitability will improve in the second half as well. So we have high expectations that this trend will be realized. Question regarding automotive. I have another question regarding automotive, regarding the divestiture of Clarion. Does that mean that I think it was a focus area for Hitachi in the past. Has this focus changed? In other words, in terms of profitability, very clear-cut decisions are made to change the portfolio. But do you have an understanding that it is not an easy business? Is there a possibility that the automotive system business will be less focus or more focus? Answer. Regarding automotive system, we are struggling today, but in the area of mobility solutions, this is a very important business for us. There is no change in this position. Therefore, the reorganization regarding Clarion means that we will allocate more resources to areas of strength in automotive systems, such as ADAS as well as control systems. That is the measure that we are promoting. Thank you.
その他ございますでしょうか。それではその後ろの列の方。
時事通信の伊藤。
Question. Hitachi Automotive Systems. Well, there are other scandals in terms of the anti-seismic trembling system for the building, and a part of the products are produced by Hitachi that I heard. Is that correct? And by the end of this week, your company was asked to submit the internal investigation report to Ministry of Land, Infrastructure and Transport. And are you aware of this particular topic? Answer. I do not have the detailed information about your question. Thank you.
よろしいでしょうか。その他ご質問では奥の通路一番前の方お願いします。
すみません、日経。
Question. Thank you for your presentation. 3 questions. First, the Taiwanese elevator business. Well, 51.7% of equity, 11.7% was owned, and then you will do a tender offer bids, and we will attain 100%. And our pricing competition becoming very tough in Chinese market. When you succeeded in acquiring this company by 100%, and what is your strategy for elevator business in China, and how you are going to improve the profitability of your elevator business? Elevator and escalator business. Answer. In Taipei, this is where the headquarters, and also in Taiwan market. Untitled is the top manufacturer in Taiwan. On top of that, in Chinese market, Untitled is developing the business quite well. In China, Hitachi's position is only the 4th or the 5th position from the top. Maybe the 3rd or the 4th, perhaps. That's our understanding. By combining with Untitled, regarding new installation and maintenance services, we can expand our footprint. By year 2021, we'd like to attain closer to the top player in the market. So that's the objective of this acquisition. And there are the benefits of scale. By combining the 2 companies, we'd like to attain larger scale benefits. By doing so, we'd like to reduce costs. With these objectives, we decided to conduct public tender offer to Untitled Engineering. So expanding product lineup and combining with a competitive Untitled operation. And further, we will gain the price competitiveness by combining the business, and also our product lineup will be expanded. And the sales networks, or the utilization of the business offices, and by doing so, we could expand the footprint. Thank you. Question. May I check with you more detailed points? When you conduct TOB, how costs are projected? So 60 Taiwan dollars per share, and outstanding shares, the all amount is intended to be acquired. So deducting your own stake ownership, then how much would that cost? Right. Attaining 100% of the TOB, 78 billion yen will be the cash disbursement that we will have to make. That's our estimate at this point. Question. Once again, for elevator escalator business, the Hitachi Corporation, those in Southeast Asia and China, you are providing premium products. However, Yuntai is doing the middle to lower range of the products. Is that correct? Answer. Yuntai is for the condominiums or the high-rising buildings where we are not doing the business at all. And that's where Yuntai is doing. On top of that, for the condominium, they are selling the elevators for the condominiums in China. The market in China, compared with the Hitachi elevator escalator versus Yuntai's business, I think we can segregate the market, and overall we will be able to enjoy higher volume. And thereby we can reduce the costs by enjoying the benefits of the scale, and gradually we will expand our business altogether. That's our strategy. Thank you very much. And the second question is regarding the comment on the overall business performance. This is the last year of the midterm management plan, and when you look at your figures, it seems that you are going to achieve the midterm target. What is your take or evaluation on this situation, and inclusive of President Higashiraha, next target of 21%, and in 3 years, if you are to achieve the next round of the target, and are there any profitability improvement or integration or consolidation of the business units going further? What is your thoughts on this point currently? Answer. For FY18, the current projection need to be attained, which means that at the minimum we will achieve the target set in the medium-term management plan, and we shall achieve that. And for the next midterm plan for 2021, the specifics of the strategy and the plan need to be discussed with each BUs. And however, overall for each and every BU, there will be organic improvement in profitability that needs to be implemented. As a part of that, and within the business unit, they will have to review the business portfolio and the product portfolio. That will be a must. Thank you. A question, once again, may I ask, when I look at each and every BUs, and there are some achieving 10% or perhaps stagnating at the 5% or so. But on the other hand, social infrastructure and industrial systems point of view, it is not just a simple profitability that is a big question at this point, but your request is to review the portfolio inside BU. However, Hitachi is aimed to achieve the social innovation. And what is required for Hitachi? Answer. What is necessary in what is non-core? It is very hard to comment in a very short sentence, so I will rather not to make any comments regarding that at this point. But as I mentioned earlier, in each business unit, profitability will have to be improved. But for that particular business, in that particular industry, because of the general trend or structure of the industry, it may be difficult to generate profit in the first place. But if that particular business is regarded as core, or perhaps that will be lead to Lumada or IoT, and if that device is necessary for our further strategy, then even if the margin is less than 10%, but perhaps by on top of that we can add Lumada so that we can provide the overall solution, and as a result of that, overall profit could be achieving 10% or higher, then that's our criteria to adopt. But in the first place, compared with the global top peers, our profitability is very low. So in each BU, each and everyone would have to try to attain the global top level of profitability, and that's the general policy of operation. However, we would have to maintain the holistic view on the business so that the company overall will enjoy higher profits. Thank you very much. Very last question, if I may.
You mentioned the trade friction between China as well as the United States. There's going to be interim elections, midterm elections in the United States. How is that going to impact your business? Answer: I don't know. At the presidential elections, what occurred, what has been the impact thereof, as well as Brexit, the impact of Brexit, and what is occurring subsequently, could not be foreseen by anyone. Nobody was able to make the right projection. So I cannot do that either. But I am concerned about the possible negative impact on the overall economy. But we must make preparations for any emerging risk. Time is running out, but we will take one more question before we close. Question. I have two questions regarding Lumada. That has been mentioned, and in the midterm management plan, I think that is going to be the core. Once again, please talk about the possibilities of Lumada. How is it going to change your company? What is your expectations for Lumada? Answer. The Lumada concept is that this is not just a platform. It is not just limited to a platform, but rather it will aim to provide solutions to customers. Therefore, it's a co-creation with the customers will be necessary, and the methodology can be provided. Providing solutions for the customer is the concept for Lumada. And at the core, we have the Lumada. And we mentioned in the beginning that it is an IoT platform, but concept is now widening. We believe that a wider concept is warranted. For example, in the SDGs, many of those goals are related to our business. Therefore, to surmount the challenges of the customers will be an area that Lumada can make contributions. Providing solutions to customers and providing solutions to society will be the role to be played by Lumada. In that sense, SDGs-related market is very large. On the other hand, IoT-related market is also very large and has the potential for a significant growth. IT can be brought to bear by Hitachi. We have more than 50 years of history, or more than 100 years history in terms of products, operation technologies available to us, and bringing to bear IT as well as products. Products, OT, and IT together will be supported by the Lumada platform, providing co-creation, collaborative creation with customers will lead to further expansion of Lumada, as well as expanding our business in a growing market. This is what we are envisioning. Question regarding China business. The summit meeting was held today, and what about the currency swap? It has been expanded, and it seems that China is looking for Japanese companies' investment, and I think the market would like to see increase in Chinese business. But in terms of the U.S. and China trade war is also looming. What is the possibility of the landscape for China going forward? Answer. For China, on a continuous basis, it will remain a very important market for us. There are many ways to approach China. We can provide products as a supplier to this large market. Furthermore, for the Chinese customers, we can provide parts and components. Hitachi Metals, the cable business, is a good case in point. The onboard cable has been supplied to Chinese customers. So this is the supply side of our business. And the high-story buildings and the high-speed elevators is also very promising in the Chinese market. IT, IoT, service-related business is likely to grow. It is still growing and to continue to grow. There are also many companies having strength in this area. With our rather than we can serve as the partner. We can work with the Chinese partners for collaborative creations. There are many approaches that we can make. Therefore, indeed, we consider China to be a very important market. We will be working with good partners so that we may expand our business into the future.
Last question. Any progress in regard to the UK nuclear power plant program? Answer. We are continuously negotiating or discussing with the UK government. Economic rationale is the decision line of decision which we will maintain, which means that conditions is such that the criteria will have to allow us to make the company Horizon to be our equity method company. So that such financing scheme and also the range of the funding to the extent possible that we ask for the equity investment and also getting reasonable return. So these will be the economic decision. Thank you.
ありましたので、これをもちまして決算説明会を
Time is up, so we will close this result announcement. Thank you very much.
どうもありがとうございます。